Hello, Reagan here, and welcome to another video. I am replacing the FEP sheet on my resin printer vat. I have an Elegoo Mars printer, resin printer, like old school Elegoo Mars resin printer. And I've never replaced the FEP on these guys ever, never did it. So, yeah, they're really, really cloudy and foggy, and it's amazing that they work at all. So I wanted to catch them before they fail. I had one leak on me. It's got like a little pinhole in it where a print kind of failed and kind of jabbed into it and destroyed it. And I don't want to run the risk of ruining everything else because I just replaced the little exposure screen on it. What's that thing called? Anyway, but yeah, I just replaced that. I just replaced the screen on it. So I didn't want to run the risk of leaking resin down into everything. I figured I might as well, if I'm going to go through all that trouble, I might as well go through all this trouble too, right? So that's what I did. And it's really pretty easy. So there's two sets of screws. There's the outside screws, which take the bracket off the bottom of the vat, like I just did. And I sped it up a little bit because it's just me taking out a bunch of screws. Ooh. And then this is the little frame that holds the FEP. Look at how like loose that is in there. It's so crazy. These screws are a little bit smaller size than the other ones. And then all of these little screws come out. These little short little stubby screws. And once they come out, you can then swap out the FEP release film and go through the fun process of putting all those screws back in. So I'm getting ready to record some Halloween content. I was trying to get it done earlier, but I've had a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just trying to play catch up now. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But I had to get this done, so I figured I might as well record it and share it. I know not a whole lot of people, and there's a few people who have 3D printers in the miniature community, but mine is not a new one or a fancy one or anything, and this is not like any kind of sponsored anything. It's just a really old printer I've had for a couple years that gets the job done, and it's pretty fun, and they're pretty affordable now. So yeah, but look at that. Ew. There's the old sheet, battered and bruised and tore up and trashed. Anyway, so here's the frame back again, and make sure if you're doing this that you have the frame oriented the right way. The screws will only properly go in one way. And then here's the new sheet, and if you look, it looks all cloudy. That's because it's got the protective film on both sides. So I'm going to make sure and take off the protective film before placing it into the frame to get screwed into place. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad day. But yeah, make sure that you've got the frame aligned the way that it was, because those holes aren't universal. They have little, they're like countersunk so that the screws are flush when you have them screwed in, which helps the bottom of the vat attach properly and everything be out of the way where it's supposed to be so that you can actually print in the vat with it. Yeah. So once everything's lined up, I put screws on opposite corners from each other to kind of give even like pressure and positioning so that the sheet wouldn't be like bunched up on one side or like sitting, too crooked or anything. At this point, you don't have to put any tension on the sheet. You just want it flat in there. Like, you don't have to like pull it and get it like crazy flat or anything. Just laid in there is fine, as long as you don't bunch it up as you're putting the screws in. Because after you get this part done, the next step ensures that it'll be stretched to how it's supposed to be. But there's a lot of little screws, and once you get them in, like, make sure you go around and retighten as you go, because otherwise you'll have some that are like loose, aren't as tight as the others. It's not like, other than just making sure that they're in there all the way on this pass, it's not that big of a deal, but on the next step, it'll be a little bit more relevant to make sure that you're putting the screws in a certain order-ish, and that you're making sure to tighten everything down. But yeah, I haven't really decided exactly what I want to do for Halloween content. I want to make some stuff. I want to do some crafting. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do miniature crafts or if I'm going to actually, like, you know, make some decorations for the house and stuff. Because I haven't decorated the house for Halloween in a while. Just haven't really had the opportunity or been in the mood, or was too busy with other things. So maybe this year we will. I don't know. We'll see. Usually by the 1st of September, I've already got the whole house decorated and everything and get everything all laid out, but it's just been not that kind of year this year. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll work on it. And even though I'm without wheels at the moment, I still think I'm going to go and like volunteer at trunk or treat again this year at the UU church, because that was really fun. We did that last year and spooky up our trunk, and it was great. Had a great time. So once these are all in, then you want to trim. Really, cat? Then you want to trim around the frame, all the excess FEP, so that it doesn't get like bunched up or in the way, cause any issues when you're doing the final install on the vat. And like I said, I just went around one more time, just made sure everything was tightened down all the way properly. And it takes a little hand strength. You want to make sure they're nice and secure, because otherwise you will have a resin mess on your hands for sure. I also have a couple of videos I'm going to be recording that I'm trying to debate whether to go ahead and release or like hold off on. I'm putting together mail, spooky mail for a friend. I'll probably go ahead and like, I'm going to record that and probably upload it as I do it. And then I have another project that I'm going to be working on, but I don't want to share the footage of that until after I've given that project to the person I'm making it for, because I'm making it as a gift for someone. So then I've got to figure out my scheduling and be able to have something to work on to record, as well as getting that done on the side. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can come up with. I picked the wrong scissors when I went to cut this. I picked the lefty scissors. I have been cutting with right-handed scissors since like kindergarten with my left hand. So I really have a hard time with lefty scissors, and I wish I didn't, because I get like these painful weird calluses on my left hand from using scissors, and I cut a lot because I do a lot of paper crafts and work with a lot of fabric, do a lot of sewing, so it's really bad because my hand is moving in an unnatural way to use right-handed scissors in my left hand, but the left-handed scissors, my brain hasn't quite got there, and it just feels so backward to me. It'd be like, you know, a right-handed person using left-handed scissors in their right hand. Like, it's just, you're putting pressure the opposite way on the scissors. I don't even know how to properly describe the sensation. So I grabbed some regular right-handed scissors and fixed it. There's the vat. This is a part where everything gets tightened down into place and it does what it's supposed to do. So you just set it on there. See, it's still soft in the middle. It's not tight. You can see the reflections, how it's just kind of wavy in there. It's not real wavy, but it's not perfectly flat and tight in there. So when you first see this, it's not going to make sense. And you're like, what did I do? I think I broke it. You didn't break it. You just have to tighten down the screws. And be sure when you put the screws in that you put them in opposite each other and you work in like a star pattern. You know, like do like this corner and then the far corner and then one of the other far corners, and go crisscross from each other as you put in each screw, and then go around and tighten them in the same manner. Don't immediately go in and wrench it all the way down to as tight as it'll go, because you will rip your FEP sheet. You just want to tighten them down enough to where they're in place, and then go around and give them a couple, a turn or half turn here and there all the way around, and just keep working your way around until they're all tightened down. What I did is I just put each one in. I put it in just enough, you know, about halfway. And then as you go and as you get more screws in, go down a little bit further, and then you'll see screws sticking up that now have the pressure release off of them as this frame gets pushed down to where they're able to be tightened more without too much effort. It's like really basic and a really simple concept, but it also feels really complicated at the same time, even though it's really not. I could make it sound complicated. I don't know why. Again, I'm the worst explainer sometimes. Other times I can get to the point, but most days, not so much. I'm trying really hard to work on that. But yeah, see how I went across? And then I know you hear all the noise behind me. I'm sure of it. My cat has got the zoomings, and he is throwing himself all over my cutting table and in and out of a cardboard box like mad. He's just on one. So he's old. He's excited. I don't know what to say. Hopefully I can clean up the audio a little bit so it doesn't sound like I'm in a house that's falling down or anything. See, I can kind of give him a little wrenching. And the main goal is to make sure that this frame is set all the way down into the bottom of the vat, so that that little inner lip there that you can see where the FEP is stretched over is fully exposed, and all of these screws in this frame are below the edge line of the vat, so that when it sits on the printer, the FEP can make full contact with the exposure screen so that you get successful prints. And also you want to make sure that everything is in there good like that and not like all warped up or anything, so that you have less of a chance of leakage when you get done. So yeah, and see how nice, like you can see the reflection, see how everything's getting all tightened up and nice in there. And you want to kind of, like I sped this up a tiny bit, but you want to kind of take your time because you don't want to rush too much and, like I said, rip the FEP. I don't know how I didn't manage to like have my hand slip and like jab through this. I bought a whole bunch of extra. I always buy extra of everything if I can afford it at the time, because I know later on down the line I'm going to need it. And so because I had extra, I didn't have a problem. If this had been the only one, I can guarantee you my hand would have slipped and I would have stabbed right through the middle of that. I guarantee it. But I have extra vats and extra sheets, so everything went nice and smoothly. And I did 2 more after this, and now I feel like I've mastered the art of replacing FEP sheets. I'm sure somebody will be like, you should have did this, that, and the other thing, and you did it wrong. That's fine. Let me know in the comments. But for me, it works. It's just fine, and I'm happy with it. So I made sure everything was screwed down and checked it one more time, made sure everything was screwed down and checked it again and some more. And yeah, look at that. It's so fancy, so easy. And see the cat hair? Ta-da! Never fails, always in my house. And then in my next video I'll show you a print made with this after I got this done. So yay. Anyway, see you next time. See you soon. Couple days. All right. Have a good one. Bye.